Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are across this great wide world of ours. I hadn't done a video in a while, but I wanted to do a quick video and it's part of on my positive vibe. And tomorrow I'll do one on Native American. But the issue becomes ethical leadership, and lately we've been seeing or hearing on the news and etc. about leaders that are not doing mainly ethical things, and the issue for me becomes: uh, are we at that point in reach that uh, way of life where we're just looking at things not ethically, and the leadership is minimum concerning ethical leadership? The issue becomes: um, I consider myself a leader, but I also look at things in the issue of environmentalism, and and I just finished the environmental law certificate. And but I look at issues in light of what is ethically right, and especially when I also want to look at leadership that is ethically leadership. And like I said, we see this lately in the news, uh, with leaders within the government. Recently, we saw this with the head football coach of Michigan. We see this within, like I said, the Trump administration, where leaders have gone awry or leadership is not. But my concern, it's not only just, you know, political or the Trump administration. I think it's ethically, uh, we've gone down that slippery slope in a lot of areas, and the issue becomes: Are we catering to what I consider, uh, which should be the issue? I just finished a book on the road to serfdom, which deals with capitalism and the use of capitalism, in which I consider myself more of a libertarian than I do anything else. But in the issue that I believe the government should laissez-faire and not be part of the solution, and that people can figure this out. But the issue for me becomes: a lot of people don't own up to their mistakes. There's a lot of times that I, for instance, make mistakes. Uh, Recently, like I said, I just finished this um, environmental law certificate. I own that right now, and now the goal is, I'm not happy where things are, not in my own financial life, but also in my personal life, and then I have to own up to that and make those changes. The other issue is, I, you know, I'm overweight. The issue becomes, I gotta own up to that, and the issue becomes, I have to make those changes if I want to live a more healthier life. So the issue becomes cutting out things that I need to do to make myself a better life and extend my life as well. So the issue is that we have to own up to these, I guess, misfortunes or these issues that we need to change in our life. And so the issue that I want to address today is that we need to look at the instance that, I see these vehicles, modes of information on YouTube. And remember, and I post on that because I got positive about it. And I see this, and there's a lot of times the information is miscued or is not correct. And sometimes I see people regurgitating things from another source, which may not necessarily, that original source may not necessarily be true. And the issue becomes, there again, is it ethical that we're giving out information that's not correct? So the issue becomes, as a nation or even as a society, we need to be accountable for our mistakes or take ownership on our mistakes. And I think, and what I've seen as a psychologist and also as a risk management, environmental person in law, that we don't necessarily take ownership into our mistakes and we're willing to pass the buck. So the issue becomes, we go down that ethical or that slippery slope, and we don't know whether it's going to take us. Second, my final point on this, I see that we have both sides. We have the Democrats, we have the Republicans, and Democrats feel that they're going to get the House back next year. Republicans, even though their people are exiting the Republican Party and deciding not to run, that doesn't necessarily uh, guarantee that the Democrats are going to get the House and the Senate. The issue becomes, number one, it's a year out. A lot can happen in a year. The whole dynamics of things can change within a year. Secondly, and this is my point, when we talk about the broader scope of things within the in the nation and all that, necessarily when we talk about we've got the coast, we've got the West Coast, and then we've got the East Coast. It's not necessarily beholden that people are going to vote progressive across the midsection or the main part of the United States. Granted, I agree with, like, the West Coast and the East Coast tends to be more progressive. States like California, Oregon, Washington, for example, and then we're talking about states like New York, Massachusetts on the East Coast tend to be a little bit progressive, but that doesn't mean states like Iowa, Oklahoma, and Texas necessarily are going to vote progressive. So the point that I'm making on this, there's never a guarantee that you're going to get the House back. And we get all these pundits, and then I see them on their YouTube, that they're guaranteed that, the Democrats will get the House and the Senate. There's no such thing as a guarantee. And the middle of the country will not, I can see this because of the fact, will not vote for progressive. You need somebody, and that becomes the big issue too. I think people are tired of the conservatives, the extreme right, and the extreme left, and they want to get somewhere back into a balance in the middle where we find somebody that's understands the possibilities or the issues, but can deal with the possibilities and create bridges. The point we've got to the point right now, we're not building bridges, we're tearing bridges down. So anyway, this is a point that I've been wanting to make, but I've been, like I said, busy. So anyway, thanks for watching my video. Please like and subscribe. Do my best to make more videos within the coming weeks. Now with the holidays around, a little bit more time. Anyway, thanks, folks, and have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.